Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. I think we can start as we wait for the rest to join us. My name is Sharon Joki. I'm the program's lead at Youth Changers Kenya, and we are happy to have you today. Before we start, I'd like to inform you that we are recording today's webinar, and so I hope everyone is in agreement with that. So we're recording the webinar today. So we'll have the webinar for the next 2 hours. So it was supposed to start from 2 to 4. So we'll be here for a while, and I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's story. And we are so glad to have you here. If you're joining us for the first time, or if this is the first time participating in any activity that is led by Youth Changers Kenya, Karibu Sana. Youth Changers Kenya is a community-based organization that works in Nairobi, Kiambu, Kakamega, and Vihiga. We work with adolescent girls and young women. And we are honored to have you here with us today. Our thematic areas are sexual and gender-based violence. We also do economic empowerment. We also do advocacy. We do sexual reproductive health rights. We do research, and we do girls' education. So if you'd like to partner with us or get to know more about us, you can reach out to us. Yes, in the meeting, I also have some of my team members who will introduce themselves as we move on, and you'll get to know more about them. Before we start with anything else in our program, we have a poll that we'd like you to participate in. So I'm going to share a poll. Let me know if you can see it and answer it. As we continue, you can introduce yourselves. Being able to access the chat so we can all introduce ourselves. Please confirm if you can see the poll. You can raise your hand or use. Okay, so. All right, I'll give you a few minutes for you to just respond to it, and then you can continue. Thank you for those responses. I can see 79% of us have responded. Mhm. Thank you all for responding to the poll. So I'm going to close it in the next 1 minute. So if you're still responding to the questions, you have 1 minute, and then I'll end the poll. Yeah, see, people are still introducing themselves, so you can introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, where you're from. Yes. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Teresa. Thank you for that. So I'll hand you over to my colleague Tana for the next session.
Thank you, Sharon. This is Tana speaking, and good afternoon, everyone. Once again, we're really honored to have you here for this session. We're really excited, and we're also hoping that even as we begin our conversations today, this space will be a space where we're going to learn, we're going to network, and we're going to connect and even see ways in which we can further advance the work that we do around sexual reproductive health and rights. So welcome everyone. Welcome again. We're really excited to have you here. And as you all know, this is Her Story, Our Power webinar, a space where young women who are leading change in their communities will be sharing about their stories, how they've been conducting their community advocacy, how they've been engaging in policy processes, among other things that they've been doing. So this is a space where they will be taking lead in sharing their journeys, even as as they continue to do the advocacy work and also employing intersectionality in their work. So that's what our conversations will be all about. And one thing to know is that the young women that will be sharing their journeys have been part of the Thamini Usawa project, which was established or initiated or launched in 2022. So they've been part of the project in terms of taking part in the different trainings and engaging in the different areas within their communities and within the areas that we work. So yeah, you'll be hearing a lot from them, and I'm really hoping that you're excited about it and you're also looking to learn, also ask questions, and even see ways in which we can all build solidarity towards the advancement of sexual reproductive health and rights. So that's that. For matters housekeeping, we will be using the Q&A chat, and I think we've started interacting with it during as we continue introducing ourselves. I think we've talked about that the session will be recorded and that the duration for this webinar will be 2 hours. So it will be ending at 4. So it's a safe space. So people will be sharing their stories. I'm really hoping that we create a safe space where we can all exist, we can all learn from each other, and also create a safe environment where we can both share, we can all respect what we're all saying, and just creating just a space where we are nurturing each other even as we continue with our conversations. For matters safety and security, we're requesting that you do not take screenshots of the conversations or take videos of the conversations as they happen. So that is for safety and security purposes. Moving on to the roadmap. Within the 2 hours, we'll be engaging in different conversations. We've started off with the introductions, and I hope that even for those that are joining us as we continue, you can introduce yourself, state where you are joining us from, and any other thing you might want to add, including what is the one thing that you've loved about your day-to-day. You can share that in the chat if it's something that you can share. So keep introducing yourself and also learn the people that are in the space. So in terms of the roadmap, we'll be having a project overview to just get in-depth understanding of what our Thamini Usawa project has been all about, how the journey since 2022 has been like until now. We'll also get to hear about the wins that we've had, challenges, and the strategies that we've been using to navigate those challenges, and even as we continue to advance sexual reproductive health and rights for adolescent girls and young women. We're also going to listen now from the young women who have been part of the Thamini Usawa training or like Thamini Usawa project. So we're going to hear from 3 panelists who will share their stories, given that they really work in different settings and their work are different. But even as they continue to do the work that they're doing, their journey has really been exciting, and you'll get to hear from them. So we'll also have that. We'll also be taking breaks in between. So that as you join, grab a glass of water or anything that you can have, but we'll be taking a break in between the sessions. I will let you know at what point. We'll also be having a representative from the Make Way program, in which YCK is a part of, who will share about the Make Way program, what it's all about, and how they've been also implementing with a key focus on intersectionality and bridging and breaking barriers when it comes to access to sexual reproductive health and rights, and ensuring that, everyone is meaningfully engaged. Everyone can access SRHR, so they will be joining in and just sharing what they've been doing as part of Make Way. And then we'll be having a Q&A session. So as we continue the conversation, if you have any questions, please share them. And then towards the end, we'll also have a chance to interact and respond to questions. Or if you have any additions, any comments, any reflection from the sessions, I will have that session to share that. And then we are going to close. So that is how the roadmap for today looks like. And yeah, once again, we really appreciate you all for joining in. We hope that, as you continue to hear these stories, as you continue to hear the stories of impact, we're hoping that it will be a starting point to building solidarity, getting ideas on how we can better our work around SRHR, or even any other work that we are doing pertaining to, creating a thriving society and community for everyone to exist. And also May it also be a space to remind us of the power that young people have in leading change. Thank you everyone, and I'll welcome. I hand it over to Hilda, who will start us off with the project overview. Hilda.
Hi, Tana. Hi, everyone. My name is Hilda Musiko. I am so glad to be here. I'm so glad that you all decided to join us today. I am the community mobilizer at Youth Changers Kenya. I know we have been introducing ourselves, stating where we are. I'm in Kakamega. So feel free to continue. For those who have joined us, please feel free to continue introducing yourself and where you're from. Yes. So a brief overview of Thamini Usawa. Thamini Usawa is a program that we have been implementing, and the objectives of the program has been to empower young women and girls who are doing community work, to bring young women and girls together to create a network, because we know community work sometimes can work best if we are in a network. Another objective of the program is that we wanted to bring out creativity among young women and girls that we bring on board. Yes, because when you're doing community work, you have to use different approaches to different issues. Yes, so if we come together, use our creativity, what works for different counties. We have also been sharing success stories so that we can see what we can pick out from different people, from different stories, from different counties, and see if we can contextualize it and implement it in our different areas. I am also going to speak about Thamini Usawa from a personal point of view. Before I joined YCK as a staff member, I was one of the girls who was trained for the Thamini Usawa project. And it was very interesting for me because I have been doing community work I've been advocating for girls and young women for quite a while, since I was young. I'm saying that as if I'm old, since I was younger. Back there when I was in my 20s, early 20s, I've been doing community work for a while. And while doing community work, I was really approaching advocacy from a broad point of view. You know, when you are advocating for something like contraception, you just speak on contraception as a whole without really factoring in that women, we come in very different shapes, sizes, we come from different backgrounds, ethnicities. So being a part of the project and learning about intersectionality was very key for me. At the moment, I'm able to really view people from different lenses. I'm able to make sure that I include everyone when I'm doing community work. So that was amazing for me. And I'm glad that I am part of the YCK team, and we are continuing to do a lot of work around advocacy and using the intersectional lens. Yes. So maybe I will hand it back to Sharon.
Okay. Thank you, Hilda, for that. Thank you for that introduction and just giving us an overview of the project and also sharing your own experience. So to add on to what Hilda has talked about, I'm glad that she's talked about different people from different places and regions and ethnicities and all that. So Thamini Usawa is a project that focuses on employing an intersectional lens in advocacy and interventions designed to address sexual reproductive health and rights issues. And we have been doing that for the last, I think this is the 5th year now that we have been doing it. And as we do this work, we have worked with young women in Vihiga, Kakamega, Nairobi. We have also worked with adolescent girls in Nairobi and Vihiga. And some of the outcomes of this program is we have been able to train young women on policy processes and also policy making. And this has really helped them in participating in policy processes in different counties and even nationally. And I know there are a few of us who are here that are also part of working groups in different counties and are also following up on policies. So this has been a very big plus for us. It's also a plus because now we have more young people who understand the importance of policies and understand the whole process, and they're able to be the voice to other youth and ensure that even the policies are taking an intersectional lens. Another win we have had when doing this project is we have created or co-created a publication. It's an SRHR publication that we have done with religious leaders. This is a publication that will help the religious leaders to be able to have more conversations on SRHR in their communities and also in their churches. We are really trying to make sure that people don't differentiate religion and real life. And I know we had that conversation recently with them where they are saying religion and real life are the same thing. So it's just bringing them together and ensuring that they can have these conversations in their congregation. So the publication has really helped or is really going to help with this. The other win I can talk about is the interactive theatre for justice. This is a training we had with young women in Nairobi, and it was good to just see how we can use theatre to communicate the issues that are there in our communities and also communicate with the gatekeepers and our leaders to understand what really happens. So that has been a very huge, big win for us. We've also worked with gatekeepers from different communities. We've had conversations on SRHR. We've had conversations on how they can be ambassadors in their communities and also how they can create SRHR villages in their communities. And this has really helped because if you're from Kakamega or Vihiga or most of the communities we serve, you'll understand that most of the time they prefer kangaroo courts than really following the law and seeking justice. So we've had conversations about that, and those conversations have really helped. And we are seeing changes in their communities. We are seeing changes in their attitudes and in their beliefs, and that is a really huge win. So this has been a very great project, and I'm looking forward to hearing stories from the panelists that we have today, and I hope you're also looking forward to that. So I feel like I have talked for so long, so we'll start with the first panelist, and we will start with Michelle. Michelle, karibu.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Michelle Mwangale. I am based in Kakamega, and I am a sexual and reproductive health and rights advocate, basically doing my advocacy at the community-based level, just tracking the type of SRHR services young people and adolescents are receiving in the local hospitals in our area, also the information they are receiving in our area. Yeah. Or should I proceed, or was it just the introduction bits?
Michelle, you can proceed.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I'll just go straight to my story and just share a bit on like what SRHR inclusivity like means to me personally and also in my advocacy work. So just focusing on intersectionality. So sexual and reproductive health and rights, to me, it means like ensuring every individual, regardless of their identity, their gender, their background, like they have their unique sexual and reproductive health needs are recognized, are respected, and also addressed. And also, we know we have like these policies and frameworks or around SRHR. Also, it means like anyone can see themselves like in that framework, in that policy. Maybe if it's a policy on sexual reproductive health, addressing young people and adolescents accessing youth-friendly services. So any person, any like a young woman living with living with a disability, a young adolescent, an LGBTQI plus person, anyone regardless of the identity can like easily see themselves in that policy, in that framework, or in a certain intervention addressing SRHR without like their identity like being like a major blockage for them to accessing quality sexual and reproductive health services. And also in my community work, one way I have tried to like incorporate intersectionality is just meeting people where they are. Like when I'm having an engagement with young women specifically, I can reflect on the previous one. I was having an engagement with young women on how like they use like female condoms. So instead of me just coming and feeding them with information on how they're supposed to use female condoms, I first meet them where they are. I get to understand like how is the intake? Are they like using it frequently? Like how is the attitude they have towards using the female condoms, and also just understanding what type of information or what level information do they have in about using female condoms. So the best way I've tried like to use the intersectional lens is just meeting people like where they are, and just creating that safe and responsive spaces. We know like in our community we have like stigma and different types of marginalization. So as long as I'm creating a safe space, anyone in that community engagement I am holding will be able to maybe approach me personally if it's something they can't like say during the engagement, and like be open to tell me on maybe they're facing an issue, maybe accessing any type of services. So as long as there's that safe and responsive space, anyone regardless of their identity will feel like seen and heard, and they be able like to voice out any issue they are facing, no matter how. And also I can say my journey has had like also wins and challenges. So I'd say I've had like wins, especially reflecting personally when I began like my sexual and reproductive health advocacy journey. I was, how do I say it? I was not like that confident to even like engage in topics around sexual and reproductive health and rights. So but the more I kept on engaging, especially for the Thamini Usawa training, I was engaged in the phase one, in phase two, and me just seeing how you people were creating safe spaces for people to engage. It was even a safe space for me to even be vocal on SRHR matters, and also just learn from you how to engage people on topics around sexual and reproductive health. So a major win for me was just the growth, understanding the topic, and being able to like being able to take the information that I had gained from the Thamini Usawa training back to my community, and also engage like young people. Like I was not even able to do like how to use the condom demonstration. like in an open space or in a public space, because I was not like at that confident. I was like, hey, do I have enough information? What if people like ask me questions and I do not have like an answer? But after the training, I've had like a lot of confidence to do the demonstration, and also just speak on matters on different family planning methods, and also topics around sexuality, bodily autonomy personally. And also I think I was able to like present an abstract in a conference, it was under reproductive health network conference. It was for young people and adolescents. I was able to like present an abstract on the sex lives of young women facing infertility challenges in my area. So that was like a big win for me. And also some of the challenges maybe I can say I have encountered is just unlearning uh, unlearning maybe some of the stigma or norms I internalized, like maybe growing up. I can give an example of abortion. I used to be like really scared of abortion. Like when someone mentions abortion, like a lot used to run through my mind. I was like, hey, this seems like a tough thing someone goes through, or a tragic. I used to see it like a tragic thing, like people go through the whole process of abortion, the emotional toll, the mental toll, and whatever. So uh, for me, just unlearning it, or just interacting with maybe just young ladies, and just them helping me understand, as much as there's that, you shouldn't like put like a lot of fear, because the more I internalize the fear around abortion, the more like I project that fear even to a young girl who has approached me to refer her to maybe a youth friendly center in a hospital where they can access abortion. So it was like getting into my way of even giving people information around abortion, and even same to like sexuality and bodily autonomy. Anytime I want to talk to a community about it, like I'm met with like a lot of silence, especially around sexuality, just talking to people to understand like their bodily autonomy and also their sexuality, and also just explaining things around LGBTQI plus community and everything. So just being met with silence by the community, and like, hey, should I continue or should I just stop? Yeah, so I think that has been like a major challenge. But one thing that has helped me overcome the challenge. Just being in networks, especially the Thamini Usawa network, you can easily reach out to an individual and you just tell them, hey, this topic, it's even hard for me to internalize it, but I really want to know it, and I really want to know like how I can engage maybe with a person who like is an LGBTQ person in my community, which has like a lot of stigma. I want to learn how to engage with that person and make sure and just create a safe space for that person, so that their sexual and reproductive health rights and needs are like met and not compromised because of their identity. So just being in a network of young people who you can just engage in any topic around maybe sex, sexuality, bodily autonomy, and they'll be open to like offer you more information, yeah, and stuff. So I think me just being in a network of amazing young people who understand SRHR like deeply has really even helped me to just unlearn some of the things that I had normalized around sex, sexuality, and abortion. Yeah. I don't know if I'm leaving uh something else out, but if you'd like to know more, you can prompt me maybe with a question or something.
All right. Thank you, Michelle, for that. Thank you for sharing your experience and your story. Anyone with a question for Michelle, you can add it in the quick Q&A box. Anyone that has a question? Or you can raise your hand. Sylvester. Okay. Sylvester, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted to inquire with Michelle. That's a great work, and I'm glad you're sharing out. I just wanted to understand how is now intersectionality, especially in terms of interacting with LGBTQI community, is in maybe your community or your area. Is it like something that is now open, or how is it right now? Thank you.
Okay, to my community, for the LGBTQI plus community, I can say it is not how do I say it? It is not like that inclusive, but one thing I'm noticing is just these people are coming out like more, and even they're having like organized group, like organization, like maybe youth networks of just LGBTQI plus community. So in terms of inclusivity in our community, it's not yet there. Even them just accessing services at the hospital level, like the moment you go there and they know they know like you're a person who identifies maybe in the LGBTQI plus community, immediately they're going to hinder you from accessing any sexual and reproductive health services. But it's a plus that these people are coming out more, and because like there are more young people in our community, like me, I've interacted with more young people who like are giving referral pathways on sexual and reproductive health rights. So maybe if I can say the only way it's inclusive is just us offering them like referral pathways. Maybe they need a service that they can't access at our local hospitals. We give them referrals. Right now we are interacting with chat. There's a Nena na Binti toll-free number, and it also has like a chat bot. So we refer them through that, even if they have like a mental health, they need like mental health assistance, or a referral to maybe a safe organization or NGO that can give them like a safe space. We give them like the referral pathways. So I can say it's a plus that they're coming out more and they have people like they can reach out to. But in terms of inclusivity in our community, it's a bit low.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle, for that response. I see there's another question. Magisara is asking, how have your experience with contraceptives influenced your views on reproductive health, including decisions around abortion?
Can you repeat the question?
How has your experience with contraceptives influenced your views on reproductive health, including decisions around abortion?
Oh, yeah. So, specifically on abortion, I used to, like, just as I said, because like I hadn't even interacted with maybe young girls who had access abortion and just know whatever they go through and why they need this service. So in a way, it changed my view to see abortion as healthcare. Like this person is accessing healthcare and not like how do I put it? And not like they're putting themselves like in a risky situation accessing like abortion. So in a way, in abortion, it has changed my perspective that abortion is a healthcare right, and they shouldn't be like lines to it. Like it's access to healthcare right, and that's it. Like no compromise on that. Yeah, and just accessing like other contraceptive methods. It has also helped me just understand some of the challenges that young people in my community face, and also just me just going to the local facility that most young people go to just help me like have that empathy and also that intersectional lens to like really understand or just keep myself grounded to like the challenges that young people face in my community. And that in a way it has also like strengthened my intersectional lens, even when I'm doing like the community engagement and talking to girls and giving them referrals. When someone approaches me with an issue, I am like able to like relate to the issue referral pathway that will like resonate with them and will like help them like get the services they need, not like what I have in mind of what they need. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Michelle, for that. Thank you, Sylvester, and thank you, Magisa, for your questions. We can clap for Michelle. Takama, she can see everyone. We can clap in our hearts. Thank you, Michelle, for that. That was a very good presentation, and thank you for sharing your story with us. We feel very honored. So I'll call upon our second panelist, Joyce, to share with us and tell us about her experience.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and thank you so much, Sharon. My name is Joy Lawinski. I am an SRHR youth advocate. When I'm not doing my advocacy work in SRHR, I am a finance officer. Growing up, I've always wanted to be a change maker. I really didn't know how that looks like. I grew up in an environment where I was really disturbed on how young girls, very young girls, will get pregnant and engage in unsafe abortion. And I really didn't know how to help, but I was really disturbed. So I've always wanted those. My advocacy literally stemmed from that. So there's one time I remember I have a friend that was an advocate, and I used to like engage with her and ask her how she does the work that she does. And no, so there's one time that she actually told me there's a project with an organization called YCK, and I really want you to be part of it. You have always said that you wanted to be a change maker in your community. You've always wanted to help girls in your community. Now this is your chance. I was reluctant at first because um I was a very shy person, and I hated crowds, and yet I wanted to be a voice maker. So so I eventually decided to join, and that is when I met YCK. That was in 2022, and I went to this training, and I was trained, and it was a 2-day training. And after that, they kept on calling me, and they kept on mentoring me in different aspects, policies, in SRHR, in mental health. And so I was so rich in knowledge, and I didn't know, like I was so rich in knowledge, and I didn't know what to do with all this knowledge. That is when I decided to go back to the community to serve the community that actually drive me to actually take this action of being a change maker. So I went back to my community. I collaborated with other organizations, YCK being one of them, in voicing out issues on SRHR. And as I learn more, I learned also intersectionality and viewing SRHR not just as SRHR, as viewing SRHR as a whole, as comprehensive. So I also learned that, one shoes cannot fit everyone. So the inclusive bit of it, I also learned that, and I was able to like take that back to my community. So one of the things that I'm really proud of, and I am so happy that my voice is being used to change other young girls outside there. I'm able to facilitate session. I am a mentor to 15 girls, and I usually take them through the SRHR programs. I train them on issues of SRHR, on mental health, and all that. The challenges that I've also experienced as a young girl maneuvering through SRHR is backlashes. It was not easy. It was not easy going to the community and just starting to talk about SRHR. Most people view SRHR as especially when you're interacting with young girls, as a very, it's like you're trying to recruit these young girls to have sex. It's like you're trying to recruit these girls to, that have that different perspective according to what we grew up knowing that, sex is a taboo. We should not talk about these things. So when I am out there and trying to like interact with these girls, I really face a lot of backlashes. And how have I come to to overcome these backlashes is I have tried to do community dialogues with parents and religious leaders and stakeholders in the communities, those people that hold values in the community, and then like try to speak their language, show them where I am coming from, and just engage them and letting them to see how SRHR is very beneficial. I've not just tried to explain, I have also tried to like use lived experiences to like show that SRHR is very, very, very important in a young girl's mental health, in a young girl's well-being, and young girls in general. So yeah, that has really been my journey, and I am really grateful to ICK. And yeah, I am looking forward to engaging with you. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Joy, for sharing your experience. You talked about one shoe cannot fit everyone. And that's really true. And that's essentially what intersectionality is all about, that even as we interact, even as we work with the different people within the community, at the back of our minds, we are constantly, reminding ourselves that their needs are different, and therefore how we address or how we aim to address those needs then are different. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for also using your own experience or your own sharing your own experiences, because that's also how we learn, and we also take up something that we can use as we continue the work that we do. So thank you for sharing that, Joy. Do we have any questions? Maybe you can put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand, and then we're going to allow you to speak. Any question from anyone? Any reflections? All right. Let's see. Okay. Should you have any question, please put it in the chat box, and then Joy can respond to the question. So yeah, thank you, Joy, once again for sharing your story. We're going to take a 3 minutes break to just grab some water, and then we're going to come back to hear from the next panelist. I know we've been here for an hour now, So yeah, we think that break could really be good for us. So we can take 3 minutes, stretch a bit, take some water, and then we'll be back for the next panelist. It's now 4 minutes. Are we back? Maybe we can share in the chat if we've taken water or not. We're going to choose to trust what you've said. So, yeah, I am hoping that you've taken a minute or two to stretch, to take some water, and that we are back. Okay, so before we move on to our next session, there's a question to you, Joy, from Owendo. If intersectionality highlights the unique challenges faced by individuals at the intersections of multiple identities such as race, gender, socioeconomic status, and sexual orientation, can we say that implementing intersectional approaches in SRHR policies will universally improve outcomes for all groups, or might it inadvertently overlook the specific needs of certain populations? What implications does this have for achieving equitable SRHR? Yeah, that's the question. Joy, maybe you can share your thoughts.
So while intersectional approach does not like fix the problem, but it offers pathways to the universal outcomes when it comes to SRHR. So if we have equitable SRHR, one can only achieve when to have equitable SRHR, we can only achieve this if we stop assuming that, sameness, there's all people fit in one shoes, and we start respecting the differences that it comes with it. So maybe, I don't know if I have answered you.
Yes, you have answered the question. Should there be any follow-up questions, I think we can ask. But maybe one other thing I can add is that with intersectionality also calls for intentionality. Like it has to be really applied thoughtfully so that other needs are not overlooked over the other. Even when we talk about policies, I think many times, and even our experiences with policy processes, is that even when young people are really invited to these spaces, many times are not even given the platform to actually, share their thoughts, advocate for their rights, and demand for their rights. And it's often maybe a checkbox. We've invited young people, so we've been inclusive, but that's not really the case. So when we're talking about intersectionality, it's also about really, yes, we're ensuring that everyone in all that diversity are really engaged and that their needs are really met and responded to. But it also calls for meaningful inclusion of those people. It's not just a checkbox. So it also calls for like a lot of like recognizing intersectionality, but also being thoughtful and intentional about it, even as you interact with the diverse people that are in our communities. Yeah, but we will continue sharing our thoughts as well. So yeah, thank you for that question, and thank you, Joy, for that response. We're going to move into our next session, and I invite Mercy will also be sharing her experience and her story and her journey. So yeah, Mercy, welcome. And we can have your video on even as you start sharing your story.
Hi everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Like super excited. I was nervous at first because like panelist, what do I have to say? But I'm really excited to be here. And my name is Mati Nyarangi. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a SRHR advocate. I have a background in education. I don't practice yet, but it will tie together in a bit. So how I got into this space is I was having a random conversation with a friend a few years ago, and they were like, "You sound like you are a feminist." And I was like, "Do I?" Yeah, maybe I do. And it was like, there's this event happening. He's a person who works in the SRHR space. There's an event coming up, and I think it would suit you, so you should definitely sign up for that. So I signed up for it, got accepted, and can I just say, those were like the best few days of my adult life. I was surrounded by like-minded women talking about like SRHR and the things that go on in the space. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely a space I want to be in. This is definitely something I want to dedicate my life to doing, like talking about women issues, children issues, domestic violence, and how that affects the society at large. And yeah, that's how I got myself into this space. And it's been a good few years. I proceeded to do a few other things. I've partnered with YCK in other projects. I was in the Make Way project last year, I believe. Yeah, and I feel like before I was in this space, I didn't know like where do these conversations take place. I was like, people just make decisions about women and female bodies without like having us, the women, to like participate in saying what is it that we want exactly. And what stood out for me in the Thamini Usawa training was the intersectionality, because that was majorly the thing that we talked about. And growing up, sometimes you might be, I think it's privilege. Like you think whatever works for me works for this other person, works for that other person. But like it took a lot for me to realize actually no, I to an extent have it better than other people, and maybe someone else has it better than me. Another person has it better than the other person, and there's someone who probably never gets to like their needs never get to be met because of some other things. Let's say maybe they have a disability, or they live in a marginalized place, or they lack information, and you wake up to the fact that you might be living a privileged life. And that's the thing that actually motivates me. I'm like, how do we then all get like access to all these services, access to information? Yeah, and it's been an interesting journey. And what has stood out for me this whole time is sometimes in this space it can be lonely working as an SRHR advocate. It can be very lonely and devastating at times, because people are like, oh, you and women issues every time. You keep screaming about women issues, women issues. Why do you think it's only women who have issues in this country? I'm like, yo, if you are feeling like you have an issue, I think you have a voice, and you can use your voice to actually speak about this thing too. Like, don't have for a person who's I'm trying to advocate for myself and the people that I think need advocating for. Because if you have a platform or a space or a voice or access to something, I think it's best that you use that to the people who are a bit disadvantaged. So what has stood out for me is like having conversations with male counterparts, and sometimes you hit rocks and you're like, how do I make these people actually understand what I'm trying to talk about? And you can see how like there's a difference in opinion, a difference in experience. And yeah, it's been difficult navigating that. But I normally say you have to speak until, like, whether your voice shakes, you have to speak until, like, you have to speak, because being silent is siding with the people who actually do not wish you well, or like do not care about your needs. So you have to speak. You have to speak up, whether, like, you have to speak up. You have a voice for a reason, and you have to speak up. So I think that's the thing that keeps pushing me. I'm like, I am here because of the sacrifices of the people that came before me. If those people would not have spoken up, if those people would have just like said, "Oh, it's a man's world," and you know, maybe we wouldn't be here. Like girl education wouldn't even exist. We would be married off at 12, you know? So I feel like because of the sacrifices that the people before me have made, I'm also required. It's almost a requirement. It's not like a choice. It's almost a requirement for me to also use my voice to make sure that the people that are coming after me have it better than I have it right now. So I had some notes. I don't know whether I have left something out. So I think another thing that I love about YCK and the platform that they have given me is the networking. So this led me to do another course with Nivisha Foundation, that is a mental health related foundation. And YCK also does work around mental health, because I think the biggest part about even the training, the Thamini Usawa training, was constantly checking on you. They're like, how are you? How are you feeling? Like, and when you're in this space, I think that's something that you actually learn to appreciate. It's like you get tired at times. And I feel like YCK for me has been the thing that is a constant reminder. It's like you can't stop now. You can't stop now. You have to continue and continue and continue putting in the work, because like I would be doing a disservice to YCK and my community if the information I got from there just went to waste. So how I have used the information I have learned, I continue to learn is doing like projects at my community level. So as part of a project I was doing, we had to go to like institutions and have these conversations about like SRHR, like group conversations, and just figure out where are these people at, what information do they have, and how are they using that information. And you come to realize that there's a lot of shame around matters sexual reproductive health and rights. There's a lot of shame. It's like you cannot talk about periods. Why you can't even like carry a pad walking somewhere. And it's it's so it's funny, if I might say that. Not like laughable fun. It's like, what, we are living in the year of the Lord 2025. Like, why are we still shaming women about like shaming women or experiences of women, like people who live in poverty? Like that's something that has actually been big. Period poverty is something that I have realized is big in the community, and when you're privileged you don't realize that. So it's like, whether you have to do a lot, and sometimes I feel like, am I even doing enough? Am I doing enough? Like, is my voice enough to like change this? But I continue to tell myself, if I talk to one person today, I talk to two people tomorrow. That's like three people who have this information, who can continue to share this information with the people in the community. So yeah, it's been challenging and amazing, because I feel like one of the projects was in a church setup, and that was actually so difficult to navigate. It's like, why are we talking about sex in church? It's like, why are you guys acting like it's not something y'all do after like church service and everything? When y'all are alone, it's something that you do. And probably because like there's a lot of shame around this, you don't choose protection. You're putting your life at risk. You're putting the life of your partner or the person you're having sex with at risk. And I feel like we should try to like remove shame from all this and have like honest and candid conversations. So yeah, that has been my journey so far. And oh, I forgot to say, I'm a podcast host, and we talk about mental health. And that's like you see Mercy, you see mental health. That's like something I never keep quiet about, because it's something that even now that I professionally I'm a teacher, which I feel like it's something that is missing in the curriculum, like sex education, mental health education. So I feel like it's a challenge upon me. I've taken it upon myself to say that when I'm practicing as a teacher, these are things that I will definitely pay attention to. So yeah, I feel like that's it for me. And if you have any question, I think I'd be glad to answer. Yeah.
Thank you, Mercy. Thank you for sharing that your journey and your story with us. And you just reminded us that, the work that we're doing, it starts with us. It starts with, me sharing the information that I have with someone else, and that person shares. So then it becomes a chain, and with that, even get to impact and reach more people. So maybe that's a call for everyone here to start. Start with someone if you're not already starting, and if you do, keep up the good work that you're doing. So there's a question to you, Mercy. What motivated you to dedicate your life to fighting for women's rights? And how do you stay inspired and resilient in the face of challenges?
Okay. I'm just passionate about women, honestly. Like, what's not to love about women? I feel like just seeing women in their spaces, like you see a teacher somewhere thriving, you see a doctor somewhere thriving, a woman in technology, a woman in like STEM courses, things that are deemed to be like difficult and women shouldn't be taking part in those. When I see women like thriving in areas like that, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, like that brings me so much joy. So I think just seeing women thrive honestly makes me so happy and it keeps me moving. I love the work Michelle is doing. I am an ardent fan and cheer squad of Michelle, Salma, the people I met at YCK. Anytime I just see them, I'm like, yeah, this is actually why I do what I do. Just seeing women thrive in community, I think like that just gives me even when I feel like, oh, this is dead and why do I even do this? You wake up one day and you see a woman in their space, taking up space and championing for other people who do not have the voice to like speak up for themselves. I think like that just gives me the biggest motivation that I need to continue doing what I do. Yeah.
Thank you, Mercy, for responding to that question. And indeed, you can tell that you're really passionate about women's rights and women. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. Do we have any other question? Let me see. All right. Should you have any questions, feel free to add it to the chat box, and Mercy will respond to it as well. Thank you very much, Mercy. We really appreciate you sharing that. And also a call and a reminder for us to care for ourselves. I think many times we overlook, like we might work, and we rarely take time to prioritize our mental health and even doing, things that bring us joy and like peace, whatever that looks like for you. So yeah, prioritizing mental health. I hope we also take that and we get to practice. I hand it over to Sharon for her next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Tana. Thank you, Mercy, for that presentation. You've really challenged us, and I like that you've told us that even when your voice is shaking, speak up. Even when you feel like you're not supposed to speak up in that room, please do. So we are going to take a short break, but for this break, we are going to play a card game. So we will play a card game that has been created by YCK. As Youth Changers Kenya, we have created 11 card games. The card games are for different thematic areas. We have card games on pleasure, we have card games on mental health, we have card games on SRHR. So they're different and we use them in activities and we also sell them. So we have a few card games here, but the card game we are going to play today is called TFR. So that's the card game we are going to play. It has questions. So for this card game, the instructions are, I have cards here, and these cards have statements. The statements are either true or false. So we will agree if they're the truth or if they're false. And then I have card games here that have the answers. So we might need to unmute ourselves for a while as we answer the questions. And if you're ready to play, you can raise your hand for me to confirm I'm not alone here. Okay. So people have raised their hands. So I'll start with the first game, then we'll decide if it's true or false. If you feel it is, please, you have a chance to explain your answer, okay? So the first question, or the first statement, it states, only people with mental illnesses need therapy. Okay, so the people that have raised their hands, then you can help me to unmute them.
Lavender, go ahead.
Now read it as I answer. Read it as I answer so that it becomes relevant.
Only people with mental illnesses need therapy.
Wrong. I mean false.
Why is it false?
False because now I can classify myself like I don't have a mental illness, but as at now, as we speak, I need therapy because there are a lot in my mind, and we equally go through things. We equally go through stress. We equally go through depression, and I feel like everyone needs therapy.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, Lavender. One more person.
Laura?
I feel it's false because mental health is for everyone, and when for mental health, where
We can't hear you really well. Say that again.
okay, hi.
Yes, now it's clear. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm saying the statement is false because everyone is in need of mental health, therapies or even counseling. Does not mean that when you go to a mental health counselor, that means that you are unwell or you are mentally unstable. I think it's just ideal for everyone to have mental health counseling or even therapy just to ensure to be safe and also sane at all time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. Sylvie had raised her hand.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, we can't hear her. Okay, so maybe we can go to the next question. So the next question says, teaching people about sex and sexuality encourages them to have sex. Teaching people about sex and sexuality encourages them to have sex. What do you think? See, Kevin has said false. Oh, I think this was for the previous answer. So is that true or false?
Lavender, you can share.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes.
So teaching people about sexuality it's not like it encourages them to have sex. Actually, it makes them make informed decisions. So for me, this is it's false, because it doesn't encourage. It makes them have informed information about the sex they want to have, because now there's something called consent. There's sometimes I can feel like having sex now, and then in the next 5 minutes I'll not want to have it. So if you empower me with informed information about sex and sexuality, I'll really know about me. I'll really know that it revolves around me, and I need to be very sober to make this decision. I don't need to be naive. So for me, I don't think it is encouraging people to have more sex. No, it is making them giving them informed information, and it makes them even have that liberty to say yes or no, and to express themselves in ways they know better. Am I on? But I'm lost already. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, so Heidi, thank you for that. Someone else before I read the answer?
Kevin?
Good evening or good afternoon. So my name is Kevin from Homa Bay. I support CSA as a youth advocate. So my take on teaching people on sexuality and encouraging them to have sex, my answer is no. I think teaching people about sexuality is just informing them about the available sexual act, like informing them about sexuality and sex activities. So here we talk about the available contraceptive, the available tools that you can use during sex, and also through this you make an individual to make informed decisions, or just to be aware of the risks that also comes with sexual activities. So for me, teaching about sexuality is more of empowering an individual and just making this person aware of the risk and the benefits that comes with sexual activities.
Thank you for that, Kevin. I see Zipporah's hand is up. Yeah, thank you, Kevin, for sharing your thoughts. Zipporah?
Maybe I can take it up. That's okay. My name is Kadare. I prefer to be called Carl from Homa Bay. I work with CSA as well as Kevin and as a youth advocate. And my take on teaching people about sex and sexuality is that it's not bad, and it's okay for people to have this information, because usually misinformation makes people do harmful things to themselves or even to their sexual lives. So if people are empowered enough, or if they know or they have information about their sex and sexualities, they're also able to live in their identity, in their realities as well, in the community. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for those answers. So I will share the answer, and most of you are correct, or all of you are correct with what you've said. So sex education allows young people to make informed choices, including choosing not to have sex, which is true. So teaching people about sex, like Lavender mentioned, it empowers the young people to make choices from an informed point. So it's very important to just educate people. And I know we've had beliefs that people have about sex, like when you have sex while standing, you cannot get pregnant, which is false. So it's really important for us to have these conversations so that when someone is making that decision, they make it from an informed point or an informed place. So yes, I agree. Teaching about sex does not encourage people to have sex. So the last question is about very important conversation. Rape. Sorry, I've read the answer to the question. Wearing short clothing is a justification for rape. Wearing short clothing is a justification for rape.
Can take that up again. Carl here. Wearing short clothes does not guarantee rape, because if I am walking on the streets and wearing my short or short skirt, it doesn't mean that I am trying to ask someone to have sex with me. Or the people who say that, usually I think they don't know what they're saying, because I do not even consent that I want to have sex just because I'm wearing a mini skirt, and my dress does not really express my sexual need. So no.
And I think I would take it up also. This is Kevin. So I think when you're talking about rape and the kind of outfit we're having, and also we're trying to relate it to body autonomy and integrity, I have the power to make decisions about myself and my body, and that does not invite any other issues that affect my my well-being as a person. So what I choose to have on in terms of how I choose to express myself in regards to outfits or any other thing does not invite any sexual harassment or any other thing that would affect my well-being as a person. So miniskirts does not invite rape.
Okay, thank you for this answer. I see this one has said a very big no. Gladys. You can speak. Okay. So anyone else that has an opinion before I read the answer? Okay. So the answer is rape is the fault of the rapist. There's no justification for rape. There's no justification for rape. There's no reason you can actually give for rape. So let's just know it. Like we have all said, there's no justification for rape. What someone wears is not a sign of consent. And also, let's also be advocates of that, because I know there have been instances where people are justifying not even just rape, even femicide. So we cannot, the same way we cannot justify rape is the same way we cannot justify murder. So it's really important for us to speak up about such things in the communities we serve. So I'm told I can do one more question. So the question I'll do is, on intimate partner violence. So the question says, intimate partner violence is only physical violence. So when you talk about IPV, it's only physical violence. Anyone? Okay, I see a few hands. Lavender.
Lavender.
Go. Let me. I'm in a meeting. So, I was saying, intimate partner violence is not only physical violence. I hope you can hear me. It has a lot of it. It has more to it. We have even emotional. We have so much Cold War. We have so much Cold War among us, among couples, and it's not only physical. It can be even emotional. It can give you a lot of mental damage, and these are the things that lead to even depression and the suicidal missions. So someone can not just hit you, but there are some actions that can lead you to your grave. So no, it's not only physical. That's false.
Thank you, Lavender, for sharing. Anyone else? Zipporah?
It's a no, because all types of abuse are serious and harmful, like those emotional abuse and sexual abuse. Yeah, so it's a no.
Okay, thank you all for the answers. So you're right, it's a no. And the answer is GBV encompasses various forms of violence, including physical, sexual, emotional, psychological, and financial abuse, and they are all harmful. So they are all harmful. So yeah, I agree with you. Thank you for that session. I'll hand it over to Tana.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts and for interacting with us for that session. So we're going to move into our next session, and I'll be inviting a representative from Make Way program who will be sharing more about the Make Way program, what they've been able to do, and who they are. So, Emmanuel, welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can have your camera on. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. Apologies for any background noise. I'm a bit close to the road. Thank you for this chance. I'd like to first introduce myself. I don't think I had a chance to earlier. I am Emmanuel Barare. I'm a youth SRHR advocate. SRHR being sexual reproductive health and rights, which is usually a hard term for some of us. Some time back, I'm an engineer, and within the Make Way program, I'm part of the youth panel, and I'll be able maybe to explain what the youth panel is as I give a mini breakdown of what the Make Way program is in general. So ideally, the Make Way program is a consortium that was formed in 2021, and it aimed to bridge structural gaps that we've seen, especially when it comes to young people accessing their sexual reproductive health and rights. So ideally, its mission was to advance sexual reproductive health and rights for all. And how this was able to be done is the Make Way program is very unique, being able to have what we call an intersectional lens in how we've been able to do the work for the last 5 years. So how is this uniqueness seen? The various partners who make the Milky program what it is today, and each of these partners is able to bring a certain strength to the table in regards to the lobby and advocacy work that the Milky program has been doing. So just to give us an overview of who is part of this Makeway consortium, we have Akina Mama Africa, FAWE, which is a Forum for African Women Educationalists. We have VSO, Voluntary Services Overseas, the Circle for Concerned African Women Theologians, and Liliana Fons, who in Kenya are represented by Cheshire Disability Services Kenya. So the lead consortium partner is WEMOS, who has all these other partners doing the work on the ground. And when I was talking about the strengths that they bring, Akina Mama Africa is able to really highlight a feminine lens in towards the intersectional advocacy that the Milky program is doing. When you look at FAWE, they're able to really also look into matters gender and education for young women and girls. When it comes to service delivery, we're looking at VSO, who bring that strength to the table. When you're looking at disability mainstreaming, Liliana Fons with their partner here in Kenya, being Cheshire Disability Services Kenya, are able to do that. And finally, an aspect that many times is left is religion. And this is covered by the Circle for Concerned African Women Theologians. So ideally, I think understanding the fact that when it comes to access of services for young people, especially, the barriers that do exist needed to be bridged, and that's what Makeway intended to do, and I believe was able to achieve in various ways. Actually, implementation is done within this particular country with the 5 consortium partners. However, the Milky program itself is not only a Kenyan thing. We're also in 4 other countries within the African continent, being Ethiopia, Uganda, Rwanda, Zambia, and us. So I think if I want to talk about the results, and literally, if we're able to show that Megwe has been able to have an impact onto the lives of young people within the Kenyan context. And in Kenya, we're only in 6 counties, spanning from the east coast to the west, being Kilifi, Makueni, Nairobi, Nakuru, Kisumu, and Siaya. So ideally, when it comes to a few results, I think one of the major strengths or things that we can actually show for what we've been able to achieve as a program are quite a few. Not quite a few in terms of them being a few, but I have quite a few that I'd like to share with us today. We've had various influence when it comes to matters policy. So a myriad of policy shifts have been seen. If you may be able to allow me to share just but a few, the National Adolescent Sexual and Reproductive Health Policy has had a footprint on it from 2023 to 2025 in particular. We've had the Kilifi County Reproductive Maternal and Neonatal Care Bill 2024. We've had the Kisumu Access to Information Bill, the Kisumu County Sexual Reproductive Healthcare Bill, and CDSK was also able to do work with the Persons with Disability National Policy for Persons with Disabilities Act, and various other policies that have really spoken into being able to help young people achieve the sexual reproductive health and rights. But ideally, from my perspective as a youth panel member within the program, I feel like one of our best strengths and one of our best results is being able to give young people the knowledge that they need to make the right decisions for their sexual reproductive health and rights. I feel like Makeway, with the various tools that we've been able to use in the work that we've been doing, has really been able to empower young people to have their voices heard when it comes to getting their services, when it comes to policies that affect their health, when it comes to the basic lives, the educational lives, their work life, and everything that they're doing. Being able to make the right decision because of having the right information has been one of the greatest things I think I can allude to. Something also very interesting is having to have religious spaces speak about matters sexual reproductive health and rights. And I feel like with a tool that we use called the intersectional See, Judge, and Act tool, it's been able to bridge that gap that exists when it comes to religious circles and people not wanting to really speak about a topic that they like to call taboo. That bridge has been gapped because of the work that Maker has been able to do. When it comes to young people accessing services in the different contexts, we've had a tool that we call the community scorecard that's able to have young people and health providers in one space to talk about how they can improve the services that they're getting. And I think overall, the Makeway program has had a massive impact on many, many young lives in Kenya, in our context as Kenya, and obviously in all the other countries as well. And yeah, I think that is my time for today. I'll be open for any questions required. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for sharing that with us and just highlighting what the Makeway program has done so far. And I think what stood out for me is the fact that, you've really influenced policies, even as you continue to work with the different partners within Kenya, and also ensuring that, these policies and the bills really speaks to the needs of the young people. It speaks to their realities. It's informed by data. And that also young people are really engaged in the policy processes. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. I'll invite Sharon to also add as you wait for anyone who has any questions about what the Makeway program, or like if you have any questions about Makeway in general, you can share with us. Any questions as I invite Sharon?
All right. Thank you, Tana, for that. And thank you, Emmanuel, for that presentation and telling us more about Makeway. The people that are wondering how that is connected, like I mentioned when we were starting, our project is called Thamini Usawa. And like Emmanuel said, Makeway is a consortium made of different organizations that do different things and work in different thematic areas. And so under Makeway, we have an organization like AMWA that brings the feminist lens in the consortium. Then we are under Makeway, as YCK, Youth Changers Kenya, is under Makeway. So what we do, we work a lot on policies, and we also work on SRHR under the Makeway consortium. So most of the work that we have been doing for Thamini Usawa, we've been doing it under Makeway. And I know he's talked about policies. We are also part of the NASH policy. I know there are people who are here that participated in that, and we've been together, also doing training on policy work and the processes and how to review our policy and how to be part of policies. We've also done a lot of intersectional SRHR in different communities. That has been made possible through Makeway. So I know we said we started the project in 2022, so that means we've been part of the Makeway consortium for the last 5 years. This is the 5th year. So yeah, thank you, Emmanuel, so much for that presentation. I've seen 2 questions, Tana. Maybe I can just answer them as we wait for other questions. So for the first question, Maureen has asked, is there a way where CK can empower these women who are survivors? So Maureen, to answer your question, so we have been working with survivors and we have been supporting survivors in Kakamega. We have been supporting them through psychosocial support and also through economic coaching. So we work with survivors. And I see you've talked about, you've also asked another question, which is on what can be done on the mental wellness of survivors so that they can heal from the trauma. In many cases, we mostly follow up with the social justice, but you find the mental part is left out. I'm glad you brought up this question. When we are supporting survivors, we support them by giving them or offering them psychosocial support. That is through group counseling and therapy. So that's something we do. And I like that you have mentioned it here because it's a challenge for all of us. Most of us, when we are working with survivors, we think about them getting justice, them reporting, them maybe getting treatment, which is really good, but we forget to support them mentally. We forget to ask them how they are. We forget to really have those conversations that they want to have. So I think it's a challenge for all of us who are working with the communities, even when we are giving them the referral pathways for the services that they need. Also, let's include psychosocial support as one of them so that they can be able to get the psychosocial support they need so they can recover mentally. And that really helps because most of the times you look at the physical side of it, then you forget that they also need that support. They need support. Can you be there for them to speak to you? Can you refer them to a therapist that can hear them out? Do that. And so I really like those questions and thank you for asking those questions, Maureen. I'll hand it over to Tanya if there's any other question or you'd like to respond to the questions before we end the webinar.
Thank you, Sharon. I see Erin has raised her hand. Irene, do you have any question? As we wait for Irene to unmute, maybe if you have any reflections, any thoughts, or any other thing you might want to add as we end our session today, feel free to put that in the chat box or the Q&A section, or you can raise your hand and you'll have the opportunity to ask. Irene, can you hear us? Do you have any questions? All right, so there being no other questions, I think I'll hand it back to you, Sharon. Thank you for the feedback, Sylvester. Yeah, please share your feedback as well, and any reflections or any key takeaway that you've picked out from this session, or any other thing you might want to add, really. Yeah, feel free to do that. Back to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Tana, and thank you, everyone. So as we finalize the webinar, I think there are a few things that we've talked about that I'd just like to maybe emphasize on them. I know we talked about intersectionality, and Tana talked about us being intentional so that we ensure everyone is benefiting, because when we are talking about intersectionality, we want to make sure we are supporting as many communities as we can and people who are diverse or coming from diverse communities. So one thing I insist or emphasize on is for us to continue being very intentional. And intentionality also means always checking if there's someone who's being left out as you're doing the work. So as you are intentional with doing the work, be intentional with checking if there's someone who's being left out, or if there are people who also need help but they are not part of what you're doing, so that you can know what strategies do you need to change, what do you need to adopt, what do you need to do differently for different communities. There's also someone who talked about the work they are doing, and a question I had is for all of us to just challenge us and for us to ask ourselves, are we doing enough with the knowledge you have? Are you doing enough? Are you sharing that knowledge? Are you speaking up for others? Are you being part of the policy processes? So ask yourself, even as we leave this call, are you doing enough where you are? Are you representing your community well? So that's a very good thing to really reflect on as we end this session. And then before we end the session, I also want to pull up a poll for us to do. So just give me a minute. So I'm launching a poll. It has 4 questions. Let's do the poll before we leave the session. Please confirm if you can see the poll from your side. You can raise your hand if you can see it. You can continue sharing your feedback. Well, thank you, Judith. Okay. So you see, Yvonne, so you can see the poll, so we can do it before we exit. You can continue writing your feedback, your reflections, any question that you have, please share it. Oh. I'm glad that more people are more confident about taking action on SRHR issues in their communities. That's good. We are more likely to get involved in the SRHR or SRHR related advocacy. Okay. Lavender, you're saying you can't see the poll. The poll should be on your screen. Okay, we are almost done. I'm waiting for people. So okay, so allow me to end the poll in the next 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you so much for those responses. Thank you for your feedback. So after this, you will receive an email from us about this webinar. So if you have any feedback, you can still share, continue sharing the feedback that you have or any questions you might have. Yeah, we are grateful. Thank you so much. Okay. So once we upload the video, you will get a link. You will get an email. Yeah. So have a lovely evening. It's still evening. Is it afternoon? Have a lovely evening and thank you so much for being part of this webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a lovely evening, guys.
Thank you. Have a lovely one.